Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon to those joining us from the continent, and good morning to everyone joining from the United States. My name is Danielle Agras, and I am a country manager covering the Sub-Saharan Africa region for the U.S. Trade and Development Agency, or USTDA. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the virtual USTDA Access Africa workshop. We are very excited for today's event, and thank you for joining us today. This workshop is a part of USTDA's Access Africa initiative, which supports quality ICT infrastructure development across the continent. Access Africa brings together critical stakeholders and designs targeted programming to advance inclusive, secure, and sustainable connectivity. We have a number of our Access Africa partners here today speaking during the panel sessions. Before we proceed, I'd like to begin with just a few housekeeping notes. In order to ensure that everyone is able to participate in their preferred language, today's workshop is available in 4 languages. Please select the English, Arabic, French, or Portuguese session based on your language preference. Kindly note that the workshop is being conducted in real time, meaning that some timing may change slightly. Feel free to use your agenda as a guide, and we appreciate your understanding that the program may run a bit earlier or later than the published time. In the bottom right-hand corner of your computer screen, you will notice a green button that says Air Touch. You can click on this button at any time to navigate the virtual platform site in order to return to the lobby, view the agenda, or visit the meeting hub or exhibit hall. The exhibit hall features booths highlighting USTDA's Access Africa partners, Prosper Africa, and a deal room that showcases some of USTDA's past grantees in the ICT sector in Africa. Virtual booths are staffed, so please feel free to leave any questions you have for the exhibitors in the exhibitor Q&A. You can also network with your fellow attendees in the meeting hub, where you can video chat and message other workshop participants that you are connected with. You can also use this feature to schedule a private one-on-one meeting with other workshop participants following the conclusion of today's panels. Unfortunately, interpretation is not available in the exhibit hall or the meeting hub. If you require technical support today, please click on the Live Support button at the bottom center of your screen. And with that, I am now very pleased to introduce you to USTDA's Acting Director, Eno Ebong, to open our program today. Following her appointment by President Biden in January, Acting Director Ebong returned to USTDA as a very welcome and familiar face, having previously served in a variety of leadership roles at the agency from 2004 to 2019, first as the General Counsel and subsequently as Deputy Director and Chief Operating Officer. Prior to her return to USTDA, Acting Director Ebong served as the Head of Strategic Partnerships at the Milken Center for Advancing the American Dream, where she drove the development of strategic partnerships to expand access to education, health, financial empowerment, and entrepreneurship. Please join me in welcoming to the virtual stage USTDA's Acting Director, Eno Ebong.
Thank you so much, Danielle, for that kind introduction, and greetings to all of you. On behalf of the U.S. Trade and Development Agency, I would like to extend the warmest of welcomes to you all. Thank you for joining us today for USTDA's Access Africa workshop. Access Africa launched 2 years ago at the Corporate Council on Africa Summit in Maputo. Through Access Africa, we are together supporting increased access to inclusive, secure, and sustainable connectivity on the continent. built on a core USTDA strength, connecting US companies to the partners and projects that will shape Africa's digital transformation. Today, we have assembled an outstanding group of public and private sector leaders from 25 countries to discuss key opportunities to advance ICT projects on the continent. It is my honor to welcome 3 ministers whose visionary agendas will pave the way for tremendous ICT growth on the continent. USTDA is pleased to host the Honorable Stella Ndabeni, the Minister of Communications and Digital Technologies for the Republic of South Africa, the Honorable Paula Ingabire, Minister of Information and Communications Technology and Innovation for the Republic of Rwanda, and the Honorable Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantimi, Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you for joining today's workshop and for your commitment to growing the US-Africa partnership. I should note this workshop is intentional for several reasons. First, USTDA has had a long-standing partnership with the Corporate Council on Africa, or CCA, which of course is hosting this week the US-Africa Business, truly recognized as a preeminent event for critical issues that touch all of our interests. In hosting the Access Africa workshop on the eve of the summit is to preview a conversation on the critical importance of digital infrastructure, which I know will be an underlying theme throughout the event. We are honored to have my dear friend, Florie Lizer, President and CEO of the Corporate Council on Africa, here with us today. Florie, we are so proud of your role in guiding CCA and all that you do to build essential connections to business in Africa. Thank you for your leadership, CCA's partnership, and for joining us in what I know must be an extremely busy time for you. The second reason we are hosting the Access Africa workshop today is because ICT is a core pillar of the US government's Prosper Africa initiative. You will hear much more about it during the summit, but I can tell you that Prosper Africa is the US government's initiative to substantially increase two-way trade and investment between States and Africa. Working together with the private and our African government partners, Prosper Africa drives job creation, fuels economic growth, and advances shared prosperity for people across the United States and the African continent. I am so pleased to Leslie Marbury, Prosper Africa's appointed Chief Operating Officer, to this workshop. I'm confident that Prosper Africa will soar to new heights under her leadership. The final reason we are hosting this Access Africa workshop is that we are at a critical juncture where investing in digital infrastructure is arguably more important than ever. As you are all very much aware, COVID-19 has challenged us in ways we really could never have imagined. And it has revealed the critical importance of connectivity in building resilience across all sectors of our economies, including healthcare infrastructure, transportation, and energy. One of our goals under Access Africa is to facilitate the deployment of quality US ICT solutions so that our partners across the continent are prepared to withstand the challenges of the moment and the future through building back better infrastructure. That's why today's workshop will include important topics for the continent's digital transformation. We'll include connectivity after COVID-19, innovative technologies and financing options to bridge the digital divide, 5G and Open RAN technologies, cybersecurity, and technology for healthcare systems. I know that these are certainly a focus of the African Union as well, and so we are pleased to have with us Adil Suleiman, the Senior Policy Officer for ICT at the African Union Commission. We look forward to hearing the African Union's perspective of the opportunities on the horizon. I know we have much to discuss, so before I conclude, I'd like to underscore what we prioritize at USTDA. First and foremost, we put into practice what we truly believe, that the best way to our partners' infrastructure goals, collaboration. And in the spirit of collaboration, nothing means more to us than building relationships that are based on trust, collective prosperity, and true partnership. Thank you all again for taking the time to be. I look forward to the discussion, and I look forward to building partnerships that are good for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna, for your very thoughtful remarks and for being here with us today. What a great start to today's workshop. We now turn to Leslie Marbury, Acting Chief Operating Officer for Prosper Africa. Ms. Marbury joined Prosper Africa in July of 2021 and most recently completed a tour as the Mission Director in Rwanda and Burundi. Ms. Marbury's previous posts include Honduras, Bolivia, South Africa, and Burma. And throughout her time with the US government, she has worked with governments, the private sector, and civil society to improve economic governance, private sector investment, trade, the financial sector, environmental policy, agricultural development, and food security. Leslie, thank you so much for being here with us today, and I am pleased to turn the floor over to you.
Thank you so much, Danielle. Good afternoon and good morning, and thank you for inviting me to be part of this wonderful event. It's a pleasure to be here alongside such distinguished guests, including ministers and officers from South Africa, Rwanda, Nigeria, and the African Union. And a special thank you to Eno Abong and my USTDA colleagues for bringing us all here today. It's an honor to have recently joined the Prosper Africa initiative and to speak to you today really on behalf of our whole of government commitment to advancing trade and investment with Africa. Prosper is a partnership of 17 US government agencies, and we are proud to have USTDA as a critical partner. Their tools to support companies in critical early stages are invaluable. We are pleased to support Access Africa and to partner with USTDA and all of you to drive quality ICT infrastructure across the African continent. Today, I'd like to offer a brief overview of Prosper Africa and to highlight some of the services and resources you can tap into. As Special Assistant to the President and Senior Director for Africa, Dana Banks has said, Prosper Africa is the centerpiece of US economic and commercial engagement with Africa. The initiative offers a one-stop shop where businesses and investors can connect to the full suite of US government trade and investment tools. These include market insights, deal support, financing, and solutions to strengthen business climates. The US government offers more than 75 different trade and investment tools. These can be overwhelming to navigate. Our transaction advisors in Washington and at embassies across the continent are available to work with you to develop a customized support package that connects you with the right tools to meet your particular business needs. I'm pleased to share that we are delivering results. Since launching Prosper Africa 2 years ago, the US government has helped businesses and investors close more than 800 deals across 45 African countries for an estimated value of over 50 billion in new exports and investments. One exciting new tool in our toolkit is the Prosper Africa Virtual Deal Room, which is a digital platform that connects businesses and investors with tangible opportunities across the African continent, curated by on-the-ground experts. Our transaction advisors provide African businesses with the light touch support to package the deals, and they leverage their networks to foster new connections with US investors. We're piloting this tool now with plans to scale it up. I encourage you to check it out. as we have some promising ICT deals featured, including companies seeking to build cellular towers and data centers and creating apps and other types of software for health, transportation, and retail sectors. To offer just one example of how the US government is working with American companies to tap into African ICT markets, we recently supported a partnership between Cisco and Cyberstation, a small cybersecurity startup based in Washington, D.C. Together, they won a major contract with the government of Burkina Faso to upgrade its internet infrastructure. Cyberstation CEO Thierry Wanji, who immigrated to the US from Cameroon, combined technical expertise with cultural fluency to both identify this opportunity and develop the proposal. Cisco financing sealed the deal. Cisco's John Salmon shared with us that being connected with Cyberstation enabled the company to see opportunities in smaller African markets where they otherwise wouldn't have been looking. We understand that businesses don't invest in what they can't see. This is why the US government is so committed to making opportunities visible and fostering new connections. Events like the one today help us do just that. I hope you will continue to engage with Prosper Africa and to build these connections with us. Please visit our website at prosperafrica.gov and connect with our team of advisors who are standing to support you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Leslie, for those insightful remarks. USTDA is proud to support Prosper Africa's important mission. As you may know, starting tomorrow, the Corporate Council on Africa will be holding their virtual US-Africa Business Summit. And so we are delighted to be joined by our next speaker, Flory Lazaire, the President and CEO of the Corporate Council on Africa, or CCA. The Corporate Council on Africa was one of our founding Access Africa partners, and today's workshop serves as a lead-up event to the CCA Summit. Ms. Lazaire joined CCA from the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative, where she was the Assistant U.S. Trade Representative for Africa since 2003. At USTR, she led trade and investment policy towards 49 sub-Saharan African countries and oversaw implementation of the African Growth and Opportunity Act. Currently, Ms. Lazaire is a co-chair of the Advisory Council for the Millennium Challenge Corporation and a member of the Sub-Saharan Africa Advisory Committee for the Export-Import Bank of the United States. Flory, thank you so much for taking time out of what I'm sure is an extremely busy week to join us today, and I'm very pleased to hand the microphone over to you.
Thank you, Danielle. I am really pleased to participate in the opening of this important USTDA workshop on connectivity after COVID. Thanks to Eno Ebong, acting USTDA director, and to the great USTDA Africa team for inviting me. Few topics are more timely, and you have assembled a truly distinguished set of speakers, including ministers from South Africa, Rwanda, and Nigeria, as well as officials from the African Union. I convey my respects to all of the participants and all protocols observed. The Corporate Council on Africa is proud to be a partner of USTDA on the Access Africa initiative. CCA was the first partner to join Access Africa, and we were delighted to host its launch at the US-Africa Business Summit in Maputo in 2019, as Eno mentioned previously. The World Bank had already identified Africa's comparatively low access to modern ICT networks, particularly broadband, as a significant challenge to long-term economic development. It warned of the potential to create a new digital divide. Access Africa filled a critical gap in bringing together some of the most innovative private sector companies together with USTDA to talk through how the public and private sectors could work collaboratively to close this digital divide. Greater connectivity has become even more important in the last 2 years. As panelists will discuss in greater detail today, connectivity has been critical to extending the reach of health providers in Africa during the current pandemic. The World Bank found that Africa was the continent that showed the greatest innovation in using telemedicine and other connectivity tools to get around economic lockdowns and overcome logistical challenges to deliver emergency health services during the pandemic. Many of these innovations are now spreading to other parts of the world, much like African innovations in fintech have spurred creative adaptation and imitation worldwide. Africa nevertheless faces huge challenges in coping with the current wave of infections. Further expanding connectivity and finding better ways to use existing technology will be critical in helping African governments save lives. Increasing Africa's connectivity is critical not just today for the COVID pandemic today, but also to prepare for future pandemics and really to develop secure and resilient health systems in Africa for the future. Success requires the same degree of innovation on the financial side. It also requires putting in place the right policies and standards to ensure that new technologies can be deployed quickly, that information can cross the borders it needs to, and to do so in a safe and secure manner. CCA has collaborated with USTDA to hold seminars on some of these topics previously that produce great recommendations for follow-up. I'm glad to see that you have some of the most creative companies and institutions from both Africa and the United States discussing these important topics today, as well as US and African officials who are leading the way on Africa's digital access. And I look forward to hearing the results of these discussions. At the Corporate Council on Africa, CCA, we are focused on promoting trade and investment and business between Africa and the United States. The current COVID crisis has posed some critical challenges, but also offers some great opportunities to put in place better systems and policies to minimize future risk. Doing so also helps expand a significant market for both American and African companies. CCA will be covering some of these topics at our US-Africa Business Summit, which takes place over the next 3 days. We will continue to work closely with USTDA to support Access Africa, to work closely with Leslie and the Prosper Africa team and across the US agencies, to also make sure that we address the range of issues that the ICT sector and the digital platform impacts. And we are looking forward to having a broad range of companies and international partners who are also working with us in our health, security, and resilience initiative. Once again, thanks to USTDA for the opportunity to participate in this important workshop. And I wish all of you the very best in these important discussions today. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Flory, for your wonderful remarks. And CCA is, of course, an important partner to USTDA. We wish you all the best with the summit this week. To close out our welcome and opening remarks, we are now joined by USTDA's Regional Director for Sub-Saharan Africa, Heather Lanigan. In addition to serving as USTDA's Regional Director for Sub-Saharan Africa since 2019, as well as the Global ICT Sector Team Lead, Ms. Lanigan previously held roles at USTDA supporting the Middle East, North Africa, Europe, and Eurasia, and South Asia portfolios. Ms. Lanigan also previously served as the Economic Transition Coordinator for the U.S. Department of State's Policy and Programming Assistance in Egypt, Libya, Syria, and Tunisia. Heather, thank you so much for being here. Please take it away.
Thank you so much, Danielle. It is such a pleasure to be with all of you today. In a year that has challenged us so much, it is especially gratifying to virtually be together with so many partners and friends of USTDA. Today's workshop is important to us because it illustrates perfectly what USTDA was created to do. USTDA is the overseas project preparation agency of the US government, and our role is unique. We work alongside US industry to facilitate the implementation of quality infrastructure solutions in emerging markets. And we execute our program with a focus on the sectors that both the US private sector and our overseas partners identify as their mutual priorities. And as I'm sure you would all agree, ICT development in Africa is one of the most dynamic opportunities, and as such is among our global priorities. In terms of how we fulfill our mission, many may already be familiar, but USG provides grant-based funding for project preparation activities, such as feasibility studies, pilot projects, and technical assistance to help structure bankable deals that can be financed, sustained, and implemented. From piloting disruptive ICT in new markets to providing technical assistance on regulatory considerations, we engage early to ensure that our overseas partners have the assistance needed to define the technology and design options for their projects. And of course, complementing our project preparation tools, we also are all here today because USTDA also convenes partnership building events, such as workshops and reverse trade missions that connect overseas partners to US companies. So driven by our mission and understanding the ICT demand on the continent, 2 years ago, USTDA launched the Access Africa initiative. Through Access Africa, together, we are supporting increased access to inclusive, secure, and sustainable connectivity on the continent. Access Africa is certainly a huge sense of pride for us, and it is built off our core strength, connecting US companies to the projects and partners that will shape Africa's economic growth. We currently have 15 US industry partners that are committed to building quality ICT that meets the needs of all Africans. Through our collaboration with US industry, we have built an ICT portfolio on the continent that has supported the development of digital infrastructure in more than 20 countries and has supported exports for more than 65 US companies. And these are obviously real results. And looking at our results, I believe we're successful because our program is demand-driven and responsive to the needs of Africa's evolving needs. And if you look at our recent portfolio, what you'll notice is that we were working with US companies on some very innovative approaches toward expanding digital infrastructure. Taking South Africa as one example, a very dynamic portfolio, which we've had a long history of success in programming and partnership, and many of our partners are here with us today. For example, we've worked with the city of Cape Town to assess the viability of ICT investments related to digital inclusion in their townships. Also worked in intelligent transportation and safety and security. And most recently, we've been working with the city to strengthen the management of water resources through the use of technology. Also in South Africa, to expand rural connectivity, we are working with 2 Access Africa partners, Adaptrum and Microsoft, on a pilot project that is assessing the viability of TV white space technology to extend affordable broadband access to underserved communities. And most recently, USTDA launched a project with a South African connectivity provider, Dark Fiber Africa, on a feasibility study to expand its fiber network to peri-urban and rural areas outside of the country's major cities. And these examples are just a snapshot. Our portfolio continues to expand and grow in incredible ways. And I think it's important to note, of course, that our ICT work also extends well beyond connectivity to other key sectors that are vital to Africa's economic growth, including clean energy, healthcare infrastructure, transportation, and agribusiness. We believe that by building a strong ICT foundation and facilitating digital transformation, these sectors of Africa's economy will be able to reach their fullest potential. And USTDA is very proud to be part of this growth.